In today's video, I want to talk about my top 5 reverb pedals for worship in 2023. Whether you're buying your first reverb pedal or you're just looking for something different for your rig, I hope this just gives you a good starting place of what might work for you in the worship context. So this list is in no particular order, but if I were going to give one recommendation to someone who is just starting out, you're just building your first worship pedal board, my first recommendation would be to pick up an RV5 or an RV6 from Boss. This is a pedal that I've been using for a really long time. I've tried tons of other reverb pedals from different manufacturers, and this one has always stuck around. I've never sold it. I mainly only ever use it on the modulate setting. I really, from song to song sometimes, will kind of just adjust the mix. And that's really it. It's super simple. It gets you a great ambient tone, and you can also get a great just standard kind of rhythm tone from it. I think now they're on the RV6, and the RV6 has a couple of additional features as opposed to the RV5. I think it adds a shimmer mode, which can be nice, and it also adds an expression pedal input. I think the expression pedal input would be really nice if you want to be able to kind of control that mix, like I was saying, like from song to song. One song you want to kind of more ambient reverb, and another song you kind of want to dial it back a little bit when you're playing certain parts. So that's where I would start. I think this is one of my favorite reverb pedals ever. And I think it is still super relevant in 2023, whether it's the RV6 or if you jump up and you want presets and whatnot, you can get the RV500. So I think it's a really great place to start if you really don't want to spend a ton on some of the bigger box reverb pedals, but you want a really good sound. And that is my first pedal on my top 5 reverb pedals for 2023. All right, so for the next pedal on my list, the next pedal I would recommend for 2023 if you're looking for a new reverb pedal and you haven't tried this one out, is none other than the Strymon Big Sky. And I'll kind of add to that the new Strymon Cloudburst, which kind of takes the cloud setting from the Big Sky and adds a couple little things for it, and it's kind of just in a single pedal there. I think the Big Sky is still a really great pedal for this. I've tried some of the other Strymon reverb pedals. I've tried the Strymon Blue Sky. I used that for a really long time, and for some reason I just never connected with it. But I've used the Big Sky. Some friends of mine have that. And it really is a great pedal. There's a lot of great sounds in it, and I don't think you can go wrong with that. And if you're trying to save some money, I think the cloud sound is really the sound that you hear people using a lot. So yeah, I would really just go for the new Cloudburst pedal. I kind of don't like that they don't give you a way in the box of the new Cloudburst to like have a preset. But just kind of like with the RV5, I feel like set it up where you can turn the mix up and down depending on the song. If I had a bigger board that I was using and I had the space and I wanted to be able to control and have a different reverb for every single patch, or a different patch for every song, I would definitely go with the Big Sky. I think it is still super relevant, and I think you'll hear it and see it on a lot of worship players' boards. All right, for the next pedal on my list, I'm going with the Meris Mercury 7. And I actually just did a pedal demo for this pedal, so you should go check that out if you haven't already. But the Mercury 7 is a great ambient reverb. It has two algorithms in it, an ultra plate setting and a cathedra setting. It's a great plate reverb, and the cathedra is a great ambient reverb. And if you're like me, I like, I don't need a ton of different algorithms. I just want some that sound amazing, like no matter what they're set to. And I think this pedal really does that really well. It also has a really cool swell function that gives you like an auto swell. So if you're trying to save room, you don't want to have a volume pedal on your board, or you just want a way to kind of do some cool swells, it also has that as well. In addition, it has a really cool shimmer setting. It has kind of a low octave setting, and it also has a couple of other pitch modes, like adding a fifth, kind of similar to like what I was talking about with the Cloudburst. Is there's no way to kind of access presets directly on the pedal. You either have to use MIDI or some other way of kind of switching between presets that you make. But if that's not a huge deal for you, man, I think it's a great pedal, and I think it sounds great. I think it sounds similar to the RV5, but gives you more options. So it's kind of like an RV5, or RV6 with kind of some other options and more control over some things. So for number 4 on my list, I'm going with the Jet Pedals Revelation V2 reverb pedal. This pedal has 3 different modes. It has a modulated algorithm, it has a shimmer algorithm, and it has a sub-octave algorithm. And what I think is great about this pedal is it gets those really great big box reverb ambient sounds, but it's in a really small package, and it gives you presets that you can switch between, and it's also really simple. Some of these pedals have like a million different menus, have a million different things you can tweak. And really, when I'm setting up a sound, I want something that is like simple, but then easy to tweak. I haven't actually checked it out. I haven't actually played it, but I've heard a lot of demos of it. I've heard a lot of players who use it. So it's definitely one that I am going to be checking out in 2023. This is my last reverb pedal on my top 5 reverb pedals for worship in 2023, and it is none other than the Universal Audio Golden. This is a pedal that I would love to pick up this year. I think the sounds and the algorithms in it are amazing. So it has a really great spring setting, it has a really great plate setting, it has a really great, more ambient chamber, lexicon style reverb in it, and I think it kind of covers a lot of ground. There's not a ton of algorithms in it, but the ones that are there sound amazing. And for me, it gets a really great balance between being able to tweak the settings. It gives you a bunch of different options, but it doesn't overwhelm you with tons of menus and things. I like pedals where you can kind of just grab stuff and kind of tweak it without having to dive down into menus and whatnot. So if that's you like that kind of thing as well, I think you should check out the Golden. It does have kind of a favorite switch on it where you can save one preset. That's something that I really like, which would allow you to kind of switch between maybe a more ambient sound, something with a longer trail on it, and then more of a subtle sound that you could flip back and forth between, kind of like what I was talking about earlier with my RV5, how I adjust with the mix knob. You can kind of just do that with the foot switch there. So I think the UA Golden is a great choice in 2023 if you're really looking to upgrade your reverb game. You're looking to get those sweet algorithms. So I want to finish this video up with a couple honorable mentions. These are pedals either that I've tried or that I've heard of that I know lots of great players use and that I would also recommend. I guess I couldn't keep my list to 5, but these are a couple other ones that I've heard of or that I like that I think you could check out. And it really sometimes comes down to does it have the features you're looking for, whether it is a shimmer setting, whether it's a swell setting, or a certain modulated type of reverb, whether it's presets, whether you want to have a different patch for every song. Those are the things you want to think about. But for me, I like to keep it simple, as I've kind of talked about already. And so the first honorable mention is the Walrus Audio R1. Is kind of, as well as some of their pedals like the Slow. I think these are great pedals. I've played around with a couple of the Walrus pedals, and for whatever reason, I haven't loved those as much as I have the Strymon stuff, but they're great pedals, especially with the R1. You can use MIDI, you can set up different presets, and it comes with a bunch of algorithms, so I think it's really great. The next one I wanted to mention is the Strymon Blue Sky and the Strymon Flint. I've played both of these pedals. They're both amazing. They both have amazing sounds. For whatever reason, I've just enjoyed other pedals better. I think in the worship context, the Cloudburst pedal is really the sound right now that I think works really great for like lead lines, for swells, for all those types of things. So I think the Blue Sky has a lot of great sounds on it. I think the Flint has a lot of great classic sounds. So it really depends on what you're looking for. But for me, I'm always looking for just a simple reverb and then a really ambient washy reverb. And that's kind of what I look for. But I think both of those pedals are great. Another one of the honorable mentions is the HX Stomp. I think if you're looking to get a pedal that can do a lot of things, kind of like a utility pedal, the HX Stomp is really great. And you can use that for its reverbs. I think if you have one and you haven't been using the reverbs, you should try it out. I think the routing capabilities of the HX Stomp are really cool. And there's just a lot of options there. And if you like to tweak things, you want to try different setups, try moving your reverb to different places in the chain, I think that's a really good setup. I think the HX Stomp has a lot of great sounds in it. And the final pedal I want to kind of give a mention to is the Eventide stuff. So the H9, the H90, and I think they also have the Black Hole. I think all of these pedals are amazing. So you wouldn't go wrong. The Eventide reverb and delay algorithms are awesome. So I don't think you would go wrong picking up something like the Black Hole or the H9 or the H90, depending on kind of like your needs and what you're looking to get out of it. So that's my list of reverb pedals for 2023. Let me know in the comments any reverb pedals that you're checking out or you're looking to check out, or any pedals you think I should check out. And if you haven't already, you should subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.